Okay, welcome back to a new video. For this video, I just wanted to do a general Q&A type of thing just about law school and answer some of the questions I get in my comments most often. So that's what I'm gonna do. And we'll just dive right in. Little background on me, I go to Arizona State University's law school. I just finished my second year, so I'm a rising 3L. I'm 26. I don't really know what I want to specialize in yet, but I do want to litigate. That's really all I know at this point. So yeah, anything I say in this video is just based on my own experience. My only qualification for making this video is that I'm in law school currently. I don't consider myself any sort of expert on like anything. Okay, so the first question I get asked most often is just about the finances of it all and work restrictions and things like that. I can only speak for Arizona State's law school, but we were only not allowed to work first semester of 1L year. Second semester we were allowed to work. I think there was an hour limit on it, but I don't know how they enforced that because I worked my second semester in 1L year and never had to like tell the school about it and tell them how many hours I was working. So I don't know how they enforce it, but that's how it was at my school. And then starting 2L year, you could work as many hours as you want. As far as my personal situation, last year, my 2L year, I worked at a law firm 2 days a week, both for course credit and for money. And then I taught ballet once a week. And then I worked online for a running training startup. And I did that about 10 hours a week, just writing and editing for their blog. This coming year, I will still be teaching ballet and still be working for the Run Experience, that startup. However, I am not doing any sort of paid internship or anything. I'm just gonna take 5 classes this fall, so I'm no longer at that law firm. So yeah, everyone's like work scheme is different. I happen to work a lot of part-time jobs. I know some people that just try to earn as many hours as they can at one law firm or whatever. Yeah, it just depends, but there are restrictions. So the finances of it all, you do need to save money ahead of time, and at least I couldn't work first semester 1L year, so that's that. Okay, the next question I get a lot is just like, how do you make friends in law school? And I feel like I'm sort of the wrong person to ask on this because it's something I didn't do a great job of and wish I had, but I can give you tips on things I didn't do that I wish I did that probably would have helped here. So first thing, I know a lot of people met at like, well, okay, there were mandatory portions of orientation, and then I think when that was all over, there was like a happy hour or something. I did not attend that happy hour, and I wish I had, because I came to find later that a lot of people met their friends, or at least their friends 1L year, maybe they shifted, but like a group, they met at that orientation that I didn't attend, so that was on me. Because I just left after the mandatory stuff, and I kind of wish I hadn't. But as far as how to make friends, I feel like a lot of people just make friends with people they sit next to in class, and know that wherever you sit, if you're in person, I know some schools are going to be on Zoom for the fall because of Corona, but know that where you sit on the first day in most of your classes will be where you sit for the whole semester. So try to plan that kind of strategically if you know anyone or whatever, because oftentimes you'll wind up being friends with the person that sits next to you because you just sit next to each other all semester. I had an easier time making friends in like my writing classes as a 1L because they're smaller. They were only about 20 or 25 people, no, like 20 people. So I had an easier time making friends there as a 1L, and then I just kept in touch. And then the other way I've had an easy time making friends is just the law firm where I worked and my summer job last summer at the military base, just coworkers, because chances are whatever like internships or law clerk positions you get, you'll be working with classmates. So I became good friends with classmates of mine that I worked with there. So that's kind of how I made friends, but I haven't done the greatest job making friends in law school, and I really regret it, so do better than me. Also, there's like bar review and things like social things that go on. I just happen to live 30 minutes from my law school, so like driving 30 minutes to go to a bar by school on a Friday night isn't always ideal, but if you live close to your law school, do that, go. I've been to a couple and they were actually really like, I did meet a lot of people, so do that and just like be better than me. So I guess my advice is more specific to like a commuter student, if that's what you want to call me. I'm working on it. I have 1 year left. Maybe I can make some more friends, but I feel like there are ways and it's not that hard. I just didn't take full advantage and kind of wish I had. So that's all I've got on that front. Okay, another question I get a lot is just logistics, especially like your first day of law school and things like that, what to expect, what school supplies you need to bring, things like that. Here's what I'll say, not all professors allow laptops in my experience, so just wherever, you can probably find this information on the syllabus, which I think most, if not all, professors will release to you before class starts online somewhere. But just plan to have a notebook and a pen just in case. They don't allow laptops. You can take notes by hand. Otherwise, a laptop should suffice. Professors typically hand out hard copies of their syllabus and then maybe some other documents. So maybe just bring like a folder or something on the first day, just so you have somewhere to put hard copies if they are passed out. I wouldn't worry too much about school supplies. I would just say, like, know how you like to take notes. I personally like to take notes by hand if I can. Sometimes professors speak a little too quickly and I have to take them on my laptop, but I take a lot of notes by hand, so that's just my preference. So just know what you want to do. I wouldn't worry too much about school supplies. You really don't need much. You just need to be there and you need to have done the reading. And then, like I was saying, sit strategically on your first day, because that's in most of your classes where you'll be sitting for the remainder of the semester. They'll do a seating chart and things like that. So just make sure that you're happy both hopefully with who you're sitting by and placement in the classroom, because that's where you'll be for the semester. Okay, the next question I get is about cold calling and just like, is it as scary as it seems? I will say it's only scary if you, well, for the most part, I think it's only scary if you didn't read, but a lot of professors will have like a pass type system where at least like 1 or 2 times during the semester, you can just ask to not be called on. They know things come up, whatever, they won't even ask questions. But if you read, in my experience, cold calls shouldn't be that scary, because I find that most teachers are just cold calling to test that you read. And so I've legitimately answered a cold call before by just like, I did read, but I truly didn't know the answer to the question that they asked. So I answered and I was like, okay, here's what I do know. And I just gave some information about like something on the topic they asked about, just to show that I did read. And honestly, like, I've only had to do that a couple of times, but professors seemed pretty receptive to it. Like, I don't think it's a big deal. They're mostly just asking to encourage preparation and make sure that you read. And so if you read, you really shouldn't be that afraid of cold calling. I mean, I've seen students just flat out reject a cold call and be like, I can't answer that question, please call in someone else. That's a risky strategy, but I've seen it done. So basically, my point is that like, don't be too stressed out about cold calls, but do the reading, and then you really shouldn't be stressed out about cold calls. Like, you can say anything. I promise you, I have just rambled on a cold call about things I did read, hoping that the answer was like somewhere in there, and it went fine for me, I think. My grade was fine, so that's that. Hey, sorry, it's me editing this, and I had to just like supplement this answer because it wasn't good. Read for class as closely as you can. Try to be prepared to answer all questions. Do not reject cold calls like I said some students have done. When I say it was risky, I mean it didn't go well and it was really uncomfortable. So like, don't do it. Read for class, or if you can't, use your like pass if your professor allows it. And try to even avoid my strategy of just like talking about things you do know. So basically just like, you want to be as prepared as possible. I'm just letting you know that it doesn't have to be as scary, because even if you don't know the exact answer, you can just speak with conviction about related topics. And in my experience, that's gone okay, but I'm not endorsing that. What I'm endorsing is reading for class as closely as you can. That's it. The next question I get asked a bit is how to pick which classes you take after your 1L year, because most curriculums will set your classes as a 1L, pretty standard courses, and then you can just choose, and there's not like any requirements after that beyond you need to fulfill some writing requirements. I find that there's 2 ways to go about choosing classes. If you are really settled on an area of law that you want to practice, just take all the classes that are going to help with that. Make it known to the professors that that's the area you want to practice in. They will help you like go that route, and then everyone's really clear on your goals, including you. If you're less clear on which area you want to practice in, which is the camp I fall into, I say just take the classes where you'll get the best grades. I'm not saying to take like a bunch of small random niche seminar courses, but I wouldn't chance it on too many professors. Like, that's been my strategy. Like, I take from professors I know if I can help it, or if I don't know them, I try to get reviews from other classmates and like upperclassmen and things like that, because you just don't want to chance it on the unknown, and if you know a professor does a good job, gives a fair final, things like that, you're just setting yourself up for success. Because I don't really have a designated practice area yet, that's been my strategy. And then I also really like writing, and that's like one of the things that drew me to law school. I just love legal writing, so I take a lot of writing courses, but that's just my preference. So I guess there's a little preference, but having said that, I only take the writing courses from writing professors that I know. So I feel like it's all, I don't know. I would say if you can help it, avoid taking classes just because of the time that they're offered or something like that. Try to have something else that draws you to them, either the subject matter, the professor. You know, if they're known to be easy classes, great, I guess take that grade, but hopefully it'll be a pleasant experience along the way. Me again, sorry. One other thing I wanted to say that I kind of missed when I was doing this, I don't know why, is that another factor that plays into your course selection is what's on the bar. So know what's on the bar exam that you plan to take, and take as many of those courses as you can. There may be reasons why you don't take certain ones, maybe the professor isn't good or like whatever, but that's another thing that's gonna factor in. You wanna take as many bar courses as you can because it's gonna make your bar prep easier, and I just totally forgot about that on this video, so anyways. Okay, and then the last question that I get asked, not as frequently, but I do get asked it sometimes, is just what the deal is with journal. So this really depends on your school. My school has 6 journals, I think, so there's a lot of opportunity for students to be on journal. Because of that, I felt the need to apply. I wasn't necessarily passionate about blue booking, which is like all you do as a 2L is just checking citations and making them comply with the blue book. However, because there were so many journals, I felt like I did need to apply and just take advantage of that opportunity, because most students, not everyone, but there's a lot of room to be on journal is all I'm saying. So I did it, and I had a pleasant experience with it. It was another way to meet people. So if you want to like make friends, you know, student orgs and journals are a great way to do that. So I met some people through it. I guess I got better at citations. However, law review citations are different than court documents. So, but I mean, if I ever end up writing in academia or something, I do feel like I'll have a better handle on the citations portion of it. Yeah, I wouldn't say it like made my law school experience, but I think if you have the opportunity, do the write-on. If anything, it looks good to go on your resume, and if the employer knows that your school has a lot of journals and it's not super selective, they might just be like, why didn't you do it? So that was kind of my mentality, and then I ended up having a positive experience. Okay, I guess I'm gonna end this video here. Those are just some of the most asked questions I get. I hope this was helpful just for a little more general information. If you have more questions, leave them below and we can do more of these, and I'll be continuing to vlog in the meantime. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.